community.
We also believe in the importance of a balance of work and life.
We believe it's necessary for a thriving workplace.
If you're the creative problem solver, we're looking for you. You could earn with commissions as much as $50,000 a year.
Plus, we offer generous time off.
Sound good?
Sound like leaping out of bed for?
Get started by sending an email to sales@randyradio.com.
That's sales@randyradio.com.
The Miller Media Group is an equal opportunity employer.
Your friend in Central Illinois. WHOW.
Top of the morning. Thanks for being with us. I'm your host today, Seth Lawrence. The WHOW Morning Show streams to Facebook and YouTube, brought to you by Peterson Insurance, your Pekin Insurance agent in Clinton. My guest in this segment of the morning show, Mr. Dan Matthews, DeWitt County Board Chair, as we follow up last Thursday night's DeWitt County Board meeting. Good morning, Mr. Matthews. How are you, sir?
Good morning, Seth. I'm doing well.
Good to hear.
Well,
hey, how about your football team? Yeah, no doubt. How about your football team, Mr. Matthews? I know you put on a different hat real fast for us here this morning, but Clinton High School football team, they're going to be on a road game for the first round of the playoffs. That's pretty exciting.
It is pretty exciting. Those kids, been known them for a long time, and Coach Bass has really done a good job coming in and putting together the program that we knew he would. And so, yeah, it's exciting to have a plan for Saturday afternoon to watch Clinton football in the playoffs.
You going to make your way down to Sullivan this weekend?
Definitely. Yep. I'm looking forward to it. So we don't get too many of those playoff games, or we haven't in the past, but hopefully it becomes more of a regular thing for us here moving forward.
I totally agree. Should be too as well. Coach Bass doing a great job with that program. So for sure, looking forward to that. Looking forward to rooting for the Maroons on Saturday, and I think a good chance to pull out an upset and move on to the next round of the playoffs. So we'll see how it shakes out. Mr. Matthews, though, let's start with the DeWitt County Board meeting from last Thursday night, and I think some news from last week that could impact. I don't know if it could impact, but I think it's relevant to the county given our conversations of visits past and board meetings past about carbon dioxide storage in DeWitt County. A Navigator made a big announcement last week. What was it, and how does it impact us?
Yeah, it really didn't hit the agenda, or wasn't anything that we needed to do. But we did find out within the last week or so that Navigator has pulled out their project really all across 3 states. We found out they did not get their permitting in South Dakota or Iowa, so they certainly can't get their pipeline to Illinois if they can't get through the 2 states and bring the CO2 this direction to put in wells. So we saw this maybe 2 years ago as well. They came to us and said, hey, we're going to have our permits, we're going to be coming to you, and I think it was March of 22 maybe was when they anticipated getting their permitting. Then they pulled those and said, no, it's going to be the spring of 23. And then now we see that they've really pulled the whole project. So, yeah, we've had a lot of discussion about it and whether we wanted it or not. And appears for the meantime, they're not coming.
So, Mr. Matthews, how does that impact, some of the things and the work that the county has done regarding its carbon dioxide ordinances? I know there is a temporary ban on that, but, again, we go back to our conversation last month, and you were going to kind of maybe rework those things, revisit that conversation a little bit. How does this impact some of those things?
I think that's just on hold for right now. As far as the CO2 wells, as you said, we did have some discussion at the last meeting in September that we were going to kind of revisit it and try to learn more about it. So I think that's not something we're going to forget about. We're going to continue to have those discussions. There is some talk that maybe they're still moving forward with getting some of the well sites approved. We don't have a lot of information on that. But if that's still happening, then obviously, I don't think it's a completely dead issue. I think, they put a lot of money and resources, and so has a lot of other entities to try to figure out how to capture and store CO2. So I don't think that's going away, but the project that was coming to DeWitt County is definitely on hold for, I would assume, quite some time now, based on what we learned, like you said, a week or two ago.
Sure. Very good. So, Mr. Matthews, again, just as it relates to the county board and more discussion on the CO2 things from Thursday night, what did the county take up in its discussion? How about that?
So there was a motion in our new business to put a moratorium on carbon dioxide pipelines. There is a project that is scheduled to go through the far west side of DeWitt County for CO2 pipelines. And the idea that Mr. Carter brought forward was to really show that, DeWitt County, we are listening to the people that live in that area. And again, a lot of other counties, including Sangamon County, have moratoriums on pipelines at the present time. And so Mr. Carter wanted to do the same thing. However, a lot of discussion back and forth. We can't really do a resolution on that. And there was really, it's the language of what was brought forward. So we need to revisit that, and everyone agreed to do that, to revisit that. But the biggest thing is the federal government controls the pipelines. We probably don't have a lot of say, but we do want those people to know that, in DeWitt County, we're paying attention to what they're trying to bring through here. And we do know that the regulations are still up in the air. There's still many things that needed to be decided on pipeline size and thickness and setbacks, and a number of things haven't been decided or ruled upon, at much higher levels than the county. And so until that's done, we feel we should, let them know that, until all of that's done, we certainly don't want those coming through DeWitt County.
Sure. So, and like you said, I mean, with the Navigator pulling that application, this feels like something that's probably not going to, if it happens at all in Central Illinois, it's not going to be for quite a while. I'm sure. I don't know, maybe past some of our board members' time. It feels like, at least.
It could be, for sure.
Yeah.
Yep.
Very good. So that issue is, kind of ever evolving. It feels like I don't know. I wasn't here for all of the early days of the wind conversation, Mr. Matthews, but it kind of feels like just the early days of the wind conversation. The way kind of it was up and down early on, and kind of went away for a little bit, then came back kind of hot and heavy. That it just kind of feels like that a little bit.
It does, and I think, like you said before I was even on the county board, I remember some friends and families saying, hey, we're getting a lease on a potential wind turbine in the future, and this was 8-10 years before you ever heard about anything. When it really started taking off, the permitting came in, and then all of a sudden it's like, oh, there's a lot more to this, right?
Right.
So yeah, it does seem like that, and I think the ebbs and flows are based on money too, right? It's based on what kind of grants and what kind of money is available for these different companies to put these projects together. So but they also, permitting is on the federal level or state level continues to kind of evolve as well. So I know they're trying to push them as quickly as they can, but there's a lot of things that have to happen first. So as you said, it could be months or years before we hear about it again or see projects brought back up to us.
Mm-hmm. Very good. Anything else on that, Mr. Matthews?
No, I think that's it. I think you'll see next month we'll have a different, more of a resolution or statement of our support for the continuation of the federal government to look into, as I mentioned before, some of the setbacks and some of the rules and regulations of the size of pipeline, where it's going to go, all of those types of things. So it's evolving, and we'll continue to talk about it.
That is Mr. Dane Matthews. He is the DeWitt County Board Chair, our guest on the phone today. We follow up last Thursday night's DeWitt County Board meeting. Mr. Matthews, let's talk some ARPA funds and some still looks like there's some money to be spent from those. What's going on here?
So a few things, Seth. As you know, it's been months since we approved several organizations to get ARPA funds based on their applications they put in. And so, we're, I think, maybe almost a year past some of those approvals, and some of the groups still haven't got their paperwork or their projects finalized. So we really need those groups to get those things moving and get them to the county so that we can, approve the final approvals that needed mainly paperwork on our side, and then get those funds paid out to those groups or organizations that we did approve. But on the county side, we have money that we set aside for projects, and a couple of those have come up. And so we approved a little over $150,000 for a new generator for the county building, but also for the electrical, the plumbing, number of things that have to happen first before we get that generator. As you might remember, the last weather situation we had where a lot of people were out of power for several days, the generator we had at the county wasn't enough to run, our emergency management office and things like that. So we decided it was time. That was an original to the building, that we needed to buy a new one. And unfortunately, it takes about a year to get that generator. So we needed to get it moving, but also have all of the pre-work done so that when that generator does come available, that we're not waiting on, again, electrical and plumbing. So we're going to move forward with those things. We also did some work at the ambulance building. We recently re-insulated it, but there was some condensation and things like that. So we repaired the ceiling out there, or we approved the funds to do that. And then we also used some ARPA funds for the animal shelter. So we're adding a couple of dog runs out there, making it easier for them to get more animals outside and separated, and be able to do indoor cleaning, things like that we couldn't do with just one dog run out there. So making some more improvements out there so we can do a better job of serving the county with and animal needs that come about.
Yeah. Mr. Matthews, if it's okay, I want to go back to something you mentioned earlier, still needing paperwork and things from the groups that applied for those funds earlier. So that is this kind of a call to them to say, hey, get your stuff in. We need it. Do they get their money before, that paperwork is in? I guess maybe add on to that a little bit, if you would.
Yeah. So the idea of the whole thing was that people brought forward certain projects, right? And what we approved, we basically approved those, saying, okay, yes, we will give you X number of dollars for this project. But they need to get the bids done, get signed proposals or purchase orders out to those vendors. And once that work is done, then we will give them their money. So it doesn't have to be, the project doesn't have to be done, but if they need to prepay their vendor, 50% up front for materials or things like that, we're going to get that money out to them before the projects, start. But we need them to get that paperwork in place so we know exactly that they have committed the funds to a vendor or, a dealer or potential event they might be having, so that just kind of proof of, what's happening with the funds versus just paying them all out at the beginning and then not really. Because of the back end, DD has to do so much paperwork and show that exactly where that money's going, who the vendors are. There's a lot of paperwork on the back end that DD has to handle for us to make sure we're spending it the way we were supposed to. Mm-hmm. So yes, those groups need to, get their work done too. Hopefully get their projects moving forward and get us the paperwork so we can get their money out to them. Sounds
good. Very good. Now, when the county takes care of a lot of things on their end, and then obviously these dollars go out to the groups once that paperwork is in, is their money still in that kind of pot there, Mr. Matthews, or will it be totally used up at that point?
As far as the total ARPA funds that the county has?
Yes. Sorry, I didn't say that very well.
So no, we still have some that we've set aside. It all has to be spent, and I could be wrong on the date, but I believe December 31st of 2025 is when the money has to be spent.
Okay.
But you also have to have all the paperwork and things in, prior to that. So, we've set money aside to look at other projects. As you know, we recently, the roofing on the sheriff's building is being redone. So some funds were set aside for that. Mm-hmm. And we did, just knowing, the unexpected things that are coming up and just the environment of what's going on these days, we still have funds that the county has available to spend on projects that we see fit, either in our own facilities or, potentially other projects that may come down the road that we feel we can help with.
Sure. Very good. Well, Mr. Matthews, we'll look forward to maybe seeing where those dollars end up down the road. Is there anything, as you think about those things, like, is there anything you want or think could be addressed with those remaining dollars?
I don't have anything specific right now. different ideas, been floated, or but I don't have anything that the board has fully discussed or put together in a kind of a 2-year plan or anything like that. We're working through that on the property committee, so we may have something in the next couple of months that we have a little better plan for what we might want to do in the next year. So it'll be here quickly.
Sure. Very good. Yep, those dollars will have to go away soon. Very good, Mr. Matthews. Let's take a time out here, come back with some more. Dan Matthews, DeWitt County Board Chair, our guest on the phone this morning. More to come on the WHOW Morning Show.
WHOW.
Let's check the opening numbers now. The Chicago Board of Trade on this Tuesday. Jim Taylor, RFD Radio Network. We start the day in the red for corn, beans, and wheat. December corn down 4 1/4, $4.86. March corn down 3 3/4, $5 1/4. May corn 5.08, down 4. November beans starting today, $12.86, down 3/4. January beans down half a penny, $13.05. March beans $13.17.5, down 3/4. December wheat 581.5, down 5 3/4. March wheat 609 1/4, down 5 3/4. And May wheat on this Tuesday 625, down 6.5. December bean meal 417.70, it's down 2.80. And December bean oil starting today 51.42, down 52 cents. Opening numbers at the Chicago Board of Trade on this Tuesday morning. Jim Taylor, RFD Radio Network.
Looking for Chevrolet inventory? This is Scott Baum from Baum Chevrolet Buick here in Clinton. We have the all-new Chevrolet Trax, Blazer, and Trailblazers coming. Plus, several Chevrolet Equinoxes and Traverses are here. This month, take advantage of extra $1,000 trade-in assistance on your trade. There's always a need for quality trades here at Baum's. BaumChevyBuick.com. Right from the start.
For the latest in Central Illinois agricultural news, visit IllinoisFarmRadio.com. Get updated information on markets, weather, ag news, local interviews with NAFB farm broadcaster Jared White, and much, much more. All at IllinoisFarmRadio.com.
Connexus will provide local, reliable, affordable, and speed-of-light fiber internet to Clinton. Get on the install list now by clicking the Connexus icon at DeWittDailyNews.com. Fiber internet is coming to Clinton. Get on the install list now.
Your friend in Central Illinois, WHOW.
Thanks for being with us. I'm your host today, Seth Lawrence. The WHOW Morning Show streams to Facebook and YouTube, brought to you by Peterson Insurance, your Pekin Insurance agent in Clinton. My guest on the phone today, Mr. Dan Matthews. He is the DeWitt County Board Chair, our guest today. Mr. Matthews, let's talk about the marina and the continued trying to sell the marina. What's the latest? What do we got going on there?
Well, Seth, we're coming to the end of our lease with our current management company that's been out there for almost 5 years. And so, we're 2 months away from that lease ending. So we're preparing to put out an RFP to see if we get the type of proposals we want, so that then the board can decide if we're going to sell the marina, operate it ourselves, or look to hire a new management company. So one of the motions on the board was this past week was for Mr. Markwell to work with the current attorney for the 1125 property management to close out their lease. And so he'll be working with that to finalize all of that. So that's clean and clear, so we can move forward after the first of the year with the RFP process. We've had a number of people that have inquired about it, both individuals, other marinas. There's a whole lot of interest in buying the marina.
Now, Mr. Matthews, will there be an overlap in having not having a manager, and when someone new comes in to take that over?
There could be. It depends on how quickly we can get the RFP out there. And then get it to the board and say, yes, this is a good deal for the county. These are the kind of people that we want to run the marina, develop the marina, do all the things that are going to, which I think are going to make the marina better than what we do today. But so in the meantime, November to November 1st to say March 31st, that 5 months since we're in central Illinois, there's not a whole lot that goes on out there. There's a few boaters that are out there almost all year long, and they really enjoy being out there no matter the weather or just getting away. And, they've got houseboats and things like that. So there's people out there. So we keep the building open, but the water gets shut off here in a couple weeks to all the docks, just so it's not, the freezing and thawing, and we don't have broken pipes and things like that. So once the current marina managers are gone, we probably have county personnel keep track of what's going on at the marina, any maintenance that needs done, up until the time we decide what we're going to do.
Very good. Very good. So we'll keep tabs on that. And Mr. Matthews, I've heard a little bit, and I'm sure folks want to know maybe the rumor that the marina was already accidentally sold. Do you want to address that at all this morning?
I can't go into a whole lot of detail, but I can tell you there was a paperwork mistake made after the sale of the 75 acres to the south of the marina property, which when we say them selling the marina, we're talking about 3 parcels to what everyone consider as you pull into the marina property itself, the road that goes back to all the docks and things like that. But we're pretty sure that's been cleared up now, and the county still owns the marina, and the county will be moving forward with the RFP shortly after the first of the year to sell the marina. Or, as I said before, the full board has to decide that they are going to sell the marina.
Sure. Well, we'll maybe hear more about that from you next month. And I know that
Sure.
I'm sure with a lot of things going on in terms of just the legalities of everything, obviously, probably can't say a whole lot. So I do appreciate you at least filling us in on that. Folks have probably heard some of those things around the community as well. Mr. Matthews, I've got a couple minutes here still with you, sir. Anything else going on at the county level you'd like to highlight from last Thursday?
Trying to think. I know Mark Mathon just talked about, they too are done mowing for the year. So the mowing that they do, the kind of standard maintenance, all that is kind of wrapped up for the year. So now it'll be more of, taking care of the roads, things that we do in the winter.
I'm gonna have to get a hold of him and figure out how I can get my yard on that schedule so I can be done mowing in the middle of October.
It wouldn't take long with the mowers they have, that's for sure.
No. Anyways, I'm sorry. I didn't mean to interrupt you, sir.
No, not at all. No. So I was trying to think of other committees. Some of the committees just didn't meet this month. So it was kind of a slow month, other than, again, anytime we have the conversation about CO2 or wind or solar, all of those things, it takes quite a bit of the meeting up because people are so passionate about it.
How is the budget looking, Mr. Matthews? I see that one on file.
Oh, I should have mentioned that. Yes. The budget went very well. The tax rate stayed the same as the previous year. So that's always good that we were able to accomplish everything we needed to do. And budgeting wise, there's pay increases in there that we had to account for. We gave some additional pay increases this year over and above the kind of standard rates. So we're happy that we were able to do that. And also, as I said, keep the tax rate exactly the same as it was the previous year. So
sure.
Dee Dee did a great job. All of the department heads did a great job putting their budgets together, in July and August so that we could get this done. Melanie then, as our finance chair, put that all together, and
very good.
It was a pretty good process.
Good deal. Mr. Matthews, got to let you go, sir. Thanks for making time for us. Dan Matthews, DeWitt County Board Chair, our guest.
The Big 1520 WHOW Clinton, 92.3 FM, W222 BG Clinton, 106.5 FM, W293 DJ Normal Bloomington.
Townhall.com. I'm Rich Thomason. Ahead of an expected ground offensive